America is about to get really gross, because I can already see that Trump is emboldening people to fulfill their hateful dreams. Being a average, normal looking white guy, it puts me in a room with a lot of white people that feel safe around me. And when they feel safe, they say the craziest shit. So I have a good idea of the type of vitriol that they hold towards groups of people that are not like them. Trump does a great job of normalizing racism. Anything that Trump can label as woke culture is going to be targeted. In his speech today, he targeted DEI, which is just a dog whistle for black people, and then he targeted trans people. When the president of the United States is normalizing these things, other people are going to feel like it's normal to do these things in public. So we are going to see a lot of freaks out there that are going to feel comfortable saying insane things in public. I will not be surprised if people are aggressive towards minorities because Trump is making that okay. He has members of his cabinet talking about, if you see immigrants, call us, let us know, be snitches. Part of the issue is the people he's emboldening is white people, and they have the ability to kind of be violent with no repercussions. And they are so good at playing the victim card, so if somebody decides to clap back at them, they are just going to say that they were targeted. And when the entire police, military, government is all right-wing freaks, there's really no answer. And I would guess the comments on this video will give me a good example of the freaks that I'm talking about, because we are not even on day one. It only gets worse from this point on.
Breaking news, over 100,000 federal employees are set to resign from their positions tomorrow. This is set to be the largest mass resignation in U.S. history. There are 4 primary reasons that they cite for wanting to resign from their positions with the government. The first is increased political pressure under the current Trump administration. Second is the fear of retribution. They are terrified that if they speak out, they will lose their position anyway. The third is job security concerns under the Trump administration with a lack of federal funding given to many different positions. And number 4, a general unrest and dissatisfaction with their positions currently. Multiple agency insiders have said that they felt under siege and that there are constant loyalty tests to prove their allegiance to Trump. There have allegedly been internal memos tied to the screening of political ideology and reported threats of mass firings tied to being a leftist. Labor unions representing these workers have warned about increased surveillance, especially when it comes to education, the EPA, and the Justice Department. If these employees do resign, this would be a massive fuck you to the Trump administration, but it would also mean massive delays for the average person when it comes to things like Social Security.
The average American is 1 paycheck away from not being able to pay their bills and about 3 paychecks away from losing their home and everything they have. We are about to see millions and millions of Americans filing for bankruptcy due to these policies enacted by your favorite president, Donald Trump, and his corrupt group of incompetent economic and policy advisors. See, here's one thing about economic law. You can only violate it for so long. You can only fake it for so long before it catches up with you. Well, the jobs report came out today for the month of August. We're up 22,000 jobs, which effectively means no one is hiring. So if you need a job to pay your bills, you're not going to be able to find one. Oh, by the way, as they're raiding all these different plants around the country looking for undocumented workers, they were supposed to actually look for criminals. That's what we were sold on, but now they're just looking for anyone that looks like they have brown skin, and they're going to pull them out of these jobs. They've been doing it all over the country, dated every single day. And by the way, as they do that, those factories will begin shutting down. They will not be able to make it. Farms are going to go broke. It's already happening. States are going broke. Literally entire red states. Not blue states, red states, by the way. Another story there. You can only fake economic law so long. Trump has no idea what he's doing. Oh, by the way, if you're worried about Trump and the other rich people, yeah, they don't need jobs. They live off the interest of their investments. They can't even spend as much money as they earn on a daily basis. So they're not worried about this at all. They're not worried about you. Oh, I know so many of you MAGAs think Trump is on your side. A guy that inherited effectively what in today's dollars would be $400 million and lost it 6 times. But he's on your side. He's never even heard the word groceries before because he's never been in a grocery store. He's an inherited billionaire con man. I'd like to say, wake up, MAGA, and anyone else who voted for Trump, but you know what? In terms of economics, it's probably too late. See, ignorance has consequences. This entire phony administration, all these phony experts, all this is about to come crashing down. That's the power of economics. You can only fake it for so long, and unfortunately, millions of innocent Americans are about to feel the pain of this fraud. 60% of the American public is about to lose everything they have. People living paycheck to paycheck are about to go broke. The GDP numbers came in yesterday, and of course the economy receded, which I predicted 2 months ago, and people laughed. Mark my words, the second quarter is going to be far worse. Tariffs on Chinese products at 145% are about to kick in, which means everything you buy from China on Amazon or elsewhere is about to go through the roof. Grocery store shelves are starting to empty at Walmarts across the country, and of course grocery prices continue to soar. People who've been financing groceries on credit are starting to default on those payments. We are about to see an economic catastrophe. If you're in this 60% that has little or no money, please stop spending money. Protect your family. Trump does not care about you. Even if you voted for him, he's a billionaire. He won't suffer, but you and your family will. Please protect yourself. 60% of the American public.
Surprise! Hello everyone, it's Anthony. Welcome back again to my channel. It's amazing having you here. You are amazing people. So today we are checking about the claim that Trump has really destroyed America. So how do we recover from this? How do we recover 60% of the population living paycheck to paycheck? Don't tell me that has been a systematic distraction over the years by both Democrats and Republican leaders. This is not true. Our economy has really been under distraction under Republican leadership. Throughout the history, every Republican leadership leaves the government in a poor state. Then a Democrat president fixes the government. Then the incoming Republican president takes the credit, which is wrong. Economy takes long to recover. And for the economy to recover, there must be some policies which has to be set in place. Barack Obama's policies, Bidenomics or Biden policies really made America a great nation. Trump came and took credit in both terms.
America, what have we done? We have a reality TV star in the Oval Office. We have not one, but two podcasters, Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, leading up the FBI. We have a Fox News host running the Department of War now. We have another Fox News anchor, Judge Janine, as attorney for the District of Columbia. Are we great yet? Have we arrived into the greatness? With our ballooning deficits and the inflation going up, the prices for groceries are on the rise. Companies are flooding out of the United States of America because we keep grabbing all of their workers in ICE raids. Countries are going around the United States in trade deals because Trump can't be trusted. Because one day there's tariffs, the next day they're gone, the next day there's tariffs, the next days they're gone. We're on the verge of war with Venezuela because Trump does not want their ex-leader to go to prison. We're talking about helping Israel build Trump Gaza, and we want to participate in the humanitarian crisis that is going on in Palestine. Our fearless orange leader decided to make our military get on their knees and roll the red carpet out for the Russian President Vladimir Putin. The world is going to hell in a handbasket. The United States of America will be the alleged President Donald Trump's seventh bankruptcy. I hope you're proud of yourself. And freedom of speech? Well, they're making it apparent now that that's on its way out too. I hope you have the day that you voted for. Like, share, follow for more. This is Grim with Get the Rant, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Canada is beating Donald Trump in his own trade war, and they're starting to rub it in his face. Now, as you know, Donald Trump started a global trade war with these tariffs, and as a result, our farmers are hurting. They have lost an export market that may not be coming back. Meanwhile, Canada has stepped in and are taking that market share, and they're bragging about it. Take a listen.
We are exporting into what used to be American markets because your former allies are walking away and leaving your farmers who voted for you in what they're calling Farmageddon.
Yes, now that is former MP Charlie Angus, who is essentially bragging and rubbing it into Donald Trump's face like, you started this war, a war you had no plan to win, and we're benefiting. We're taking your market share, and he's absolutely right. Our farmers are in a desperate situation. They're pleading for help, and while Donald Trump said he will get them a bailout, by the time they get the bailout for some, it'll be too late, if it even helps at all. Donald Trump got into this trade war with no victory plan, and our friends, our former friends, are rubbing it in our face.
This is Donald Trump's America. Everyone needs to see this video. A mother of two is begging for help as she cannot afford to feed her children and pay her mortgage off anymore. It's truly heartbreaking and shows the reality that millions of Americans are living in right now. As soon as the money hits their account, it's instantly gone.
We are a family of 4. We have 2 kids. How are y'all surviving? Because I'm not. I got paid today, and it's gone. Goes toward the mortgage, cell phone bill, gas and electric, garbage, everything, gone.
The worst part is she works 40 hours a week, her husband works 50 hours a week, and they still can't even afford basic necessities. She says each month they have to decide between a grocery trip or paying the mortgage because they can't do both. Here's a powerful quote from her saying, the people that don't have kids are barely surviving. I am not surviving. Your money is gone. There's nothing you can do. You just have to ride on this floating rock and spend. This right here is a very important part of what she said. Unless you're a rich elite, you're effed, and she's absolutely right. She then goes on to say that everybody needs to unite because it's very important we all speak out against this corruption. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's only going to get worse under Donald Trump's leadership. Everything that he does is focused around helping the elites and hurting the rest of us. That is his entire playbook. Here's a very simple analogy. Donald Trump is a billionaire, an elitist. Imagine he's on the red team. And imagine the blue team is the rest of America, the 99%, the working class. Why would anybody that's on the red team help the blue team out in any capacity? Obviously, he's going to help out himself and his team at the expense of us.
Trump is losing it, y'all. And I really feel like we're getting really, really close to them invoking the 25th Amendment on his ass. So many things this week. First of all, he reposted this AI-generated video of Laura Trump on Fox News talking about med beds, which is a QAnon conspiracy about these magical medical beds that can cure all, even reverse aging, which has since been taken down. Then, I'm sure most of you have at this point seen the in Oval Office press conference he had where the reporter was asking him about the meeting with Pete Hegseth and the generals, and he got confused because he thought they were talking about generals from other countries. Oh, it's so great that they want to come visit with us because we're the hottest country in the world. And then J.D. Vance had to step in. Then, despite the fact that J.D. Vance had to step in and course correct, he kept going. And he started making up lies, improvised lies on the spot about this fake meeting with foreign military generals on U.S. soil. We're going to give them tours of facilities. We're going to show them the latest equipment. We're going to do all these amazing things for them while they're here. I'm sure there's more I'm missing because I don't follow his Truth Social like that. But there's also talks about the reason why he chose to invade Portland is because he's misremembering things from 4 years ago, from 6 years ago. The theory is that he thinks it's like 2019. And he's acting on old information, which I'm not so quick to poo-poo that idea. I actually don't think that J.D. Vance and company are waiting to invoke the 25th Amendment because they think he's still competent. In fact, we have alleged text evidence proving that J.D. Vance knows exactly how mentally incapable Donald Trump is at doing this job. So no, I don't think that they have ever thought that he was capable enough. I think they're waiting to invoke the 25th Amendment because they know that he still has a pull on the MAGA base. And he still has a pull on the people that run the system. But at some point, he's going to start to go so far over the edge that he's going to start saying things, doing things, and making decisions that affect people's pocketbooks. And that's when he's going to start to lose support from the billionaires and from the establishment right and everybody else that's still hanging on to his coattails. I think they're waiting to invoke the 25th Amendment when they know that he is no longer a useful puppet, a useful tool for their movement. And I'm sorry, but When it gets to the point where J.D. Vance has to be standing in the Oval Office to intervene on interactions between him and the press because he is so fucking confused that he doesn't even know what the hell is going on, I think we're getting pretty close to that moment.
Hey everyone, well, I am back on the road and on my way back to Washington, D.C. I want to wish you all a happy Monday, and I want to just give you all the lowdown on what is going on with federal funding, the budget fight, and a potential government shutdown, because it is looking like we are going to have a shutdown. Now, I want to explain to you all exactly why this is likely, what the consequences are for our communities, for our country, for our economy, and for federal workers, and why the mechanics at this point are basically not in favor of keeping the government open. And that's because of this. I'm here at the airport, I'm in transit, I'm on my way back to Washington, D.C., and for anyone out there who's ever traveled to our nation's capital, you know that if you live somewhere that's far away, whether it's the Intermountain West, it's the West Coast, it's Alaska, Hawaii, it can take an entire day to get there. And tomorrow at midnight is the end of the fiscal year. And the president and the Republican-controlled Congress have not passed a budget. And not only have they not passed a budget, they have refused to negotiate. The speaker canceled votes today and tomorrow. And then he told his members not to travel to Washington, D.C. That's right. So House Democrats and Senate Democrats all over the country are currently in transit on their way to Washington, D.C. to try to avert a government shutdown. And the Republicans are nowhere to be found. They're not even en route. They're not even on their way. They're not showing up for work. And so while the president has suddenly 180'd on holding a meeting with leadership today, this afternoon, there's no reversal in their position. They are still planning for and wanting a shutdown, or they would have called their members back, because just the logistics, just the common sense logistics would say, if you were trying to negotiate a bipartisan deal to keep the government open, to save healthcare, and to protect the American people, you would have your members en route to show up to vote. But they're not. In fact, they were told to stay home. So we're on our way to go do our jobs. Now, I want to explain why a shutdown is bad and how it will hurt our communities and our economy. A shutdown is where federal services that have a lapse in funding get shut down. We know that the OMB director, on top of that, has said that not only will federal workers get furloughed, but he is going to use this as a pretext to conduct mass firings of federal workers. This is just like they tried with DOGE. At the beginning of this administration, it was found to be unlawful over and over again. The courts ordered them to rehire federal workers. In fact, just this last week, a whole tranche of federal workers were rehired after they were fired the first time. And now this guy, who literally is the architect of Project 2025, is talking about doing it again during a shutdown. This is what they want. They are trying to execute a shutdown. They are planning to use it as a pretext for Project 2025. And frankly, the president has been so preoccupied with trying to threaten members of Congress to keep the Epstein files from being released, so preoccupied with bullying universities and media conglomerates and members of the public, so busy directing his political appointees to go after his enemies, that he hasn't even managed to do his most constitutional duty, which is to keep the government open and functional. Now, this is not good. This is not good for the American people. It's not good for the economy. And of course, it will be catastrophic for literally hundreds of thousands of Americans who are federal workers and their families. So we want you all to know that we are on our way back to Washington, D.C. to fight the good fight, to do what we can, to negotiate in good faith, and to help support everyone out there who may be impacted by this shutdown. But that's what's going on, and it's important that all of you have the facts and that you know what is really happening. So I'm gonna go get on this plane. I will see you all in Washington, D.C. We will keep you up to date. This is going to be minute by minute, hour by hour over the next 48 hours. And I am sending you all so much love. Happy Monday, everyone.
The US dollar is collapsing, and it's a direct result of the Trump Republican regime's policies that are gutting the US economy from the inside out. So here's what's happening. And stay with me because the plot thickens towards the end. The dollar just went through one of the steepest 6-month drops in history. And yes, I said history, not the last 5 years, not the last decade, not the last 50 years. In history, it's down 11%. It's stabilized for now, but experts say this is just a pause before the next crash because Trump's trade war and reckless spending have left America with twin deficits: a massive trade deficit and a huge federal budget deficit. It's like bleeding from two wounds at once. Stabilizing one wound only slows the death process. And follow for more at Cultural Analysis and culturalperspective.com, because understanding why this is happening is the first step in protecting yourself. Here's the cultural problem. The Trump regime sees power as a zero-sum game. They believe America must win by forcing others to lose. So they impose tariffs and punish foreign governments that hold U.S. debt. So predictably, the global investors are now pulling money out of U.S. assets. And when they sell off the dollar, it sinks even further. The Federal Reserve faces a weakening job market because of Trump is cutting rates. Lower rates mean even less attractive dollars worldwide. It's a spiral caused by the Trump Republican regime. So why are they doing this? And this is where the plot thickens. Manufacturing can't come back to America if the dollar stays strong. So Trump is weakening the dollar. The same America First policies that sound patriotic are actually designed to devalue American currency, which will devalue savings and devalue retirement accounts. So what happens to manufacturing if the dollar keeps falling? Nothing, because America doesn't manufacture anymore. Economies evolve through 6 stages of development: farming, industrial, manufacturing, services, knowledge and digital, and finally, sustainable economies. The US is already at stage 5, while places like the EU and China are moving towards stage 6. So no one talks about taking America back to stage 1, farming. It is a ridiculous idea. So why try and drag it all the way back to stage 3, factories? People don't want to work factory jobs anymore, and advanced economies never move backwards. And that's why Trump's plan to revive U.S. manufacturing is just stupid. You can't reverse decades of economic evolution, but you can destroy an economy and make everyone poor. And that is exactly what Trump and the Republican regime is doing. What are your thoughts on this?
Surprise! Thank you all if you have watched this video to the end. It's amazing. And if you have skipped some bits, you have skipped very important information, which I can't add because you have to go and watch back again. So my name is Anthony, as I usually say, and I love you. And if you had a present, I would give each and every one of you. So our Department of Defense or Department of War, name it, is being headed by a Fox News commentator or a drunkard, if you can put it better. FBI is literally headed by the DEI hire, what Trump has been fighting throughout his career. DEI hire, a prosecutor. He has no FBI background. He has none. His deputy or whatever, Dan Bongino, is a podcaster. Yes, he's a podcaster. He got no information about that. Our Department of Health is headed by one of the greatest conspiracy theorists of our century, RFK Jr. He is the head of our Department of Health. He is the guy who depends on Wikipedia, who depends on YouTube research or YouTube or whatever online theories to make up judgments on the general health of Americans. He is the one heading our Department of Health, right? So we are in really a bad state as a country because it's a TV show being run by our government, and I don't know who is sponsoring it. Amazon, Netflix, Disney, Marvel, who? Captain America is Trump, I don't know. So name them. I don't know who is sponsoring this TV show at White House. And do you know who is sponsoring this incompetent government in our country at the moment? AIPAC. This Israel lobbyist group has took hold of our government in such a way that our government cares more about Israel than us. True. You saw the other day 250 House representatives visiting Israel. Now, tell me which time in our country, apart from rare situations, when there was a unison agreement in both houses to a particular cause which is aimed at helping Americans. Is it healthcare? Hmm? Is it about tariffs? Is it about small businesses? Is it about a tax cut to the poor? Tell me which instances has both the House and the Senate come together to work for the common American? None. But for Israel, anytime. So APAC has really captured our country. And then there is this other issue, Project 2025. Project 2025 is there to stay. And what Trump is doing, Trump has no policies. Trump knows nothing. Trump even doesn't know how the government is being ran. He doesn't know. Trump doesn't give the orders. Yes, he gives the orders, but they come from somewhere else. He's just a mouthpiece. He is just a mouthpiece. So Project 2025 is really destroying our country, and it is taking our country to submission. Tax for the rich, tax cuts for the rich, but no bailouts for the poor. No tax cuts for the poor. No no checks on the corporate greed, which is really ripping our country apart. Because tell me in the comment section why we consume 18 trillion US dollars a year, whereas China, a country which is almost 4 times our population, is consuming $7 trillion a year. Tell me why. Don't tell me that we like consuming in America. No, there is no way. It's the corporate greed. Corporate greed is really affecting our country. And what we did, we elected a corporate plant as president. We elected a corporate plant as VP. The whole story of Ilibili, Apalekia, the boy from single grandmother or whoever JD Vance was. JD Vance is a corporate plant, and the earlier you know that, the better. So we are messed up as a country. First and foremost, let's take our country from Trump. Second, liberation. Let's take our country from corporates. Third, and to make our country the best country in the world, let's take our country from APAC. Let's have leaders who work for us.